Hello, my friends. Over time, I've been able to distinguish several kinds of visions, those directly concerning the painting and those that do not. And in the latter, there are the ordinary that I frequently encounter, which are serene, the explosive, like a luminous orgasm, and the very large, those on the other side of the wall of life. I have described them in the full version of the book, and I even represented them in the illuminated and illustrated version, as well as my many black and white or colored photos. What then is this energy which resembles in certain aspects what the apostle have received and which diverges so much in the sexual side, at least according to what tradition has given us? I don't know. We call it energy. It feels good. That's all. Not to be confused with the vital energy of other energies that we feel as a lower, more earthly level. Energy gives us the impression of being in direct connection with the divine. I also try to lay hands flat on the chest, on the back, or on various parts of the body, contact or distance. At those times, people felt something very intense that made them different from others for at least few hours. From time to time, when I was alone, I did a little meditation session sitting cross-legged in the dark, in the middle of the living room. That day, immersed in the non-thought, I see a gigantic snake emerge, opening a mouth bigger than I am, with fangs ready to grab me and engulf me. At the first moment, I felt fear invade me. I am alone. There is no escape. But instead of succumbing to panic, the solution comes to my mind and I think strongly. I recognize you. I love you. Immediately, the snake disappears and I feel catapulted towards an ecstatic explosion of light that turns into bliss. I instantly feel what to do as if I had just that knowledge in me and it reappears at the right time. So, what did I recognize? God, of course. This is what I felt forcefully because of the biblical tradition of Genesis. Some would say it was the devil. It is only a too childish explanation, too materialistic, too close to the ordinary human. There is another level of understanding that is higher. In my various visions and perceptions, I had learned that there is only one being in the all visible and invisible universe. That it was transformed for reasons that appear to me later and that I would explain further. We are only part of himself. We are not aware of things in ordinary life, and it seems difficult to admit. In this cosmic game, when the pressure is too strong for us, poor humans, the key words, the liberating thought is love. I love you. Thought very deeply and not addressing anyone particularly, or so to God. It is said and repeated in the Christian religion that God is love. It is true. I also realize that fear is a kind of trial, a door to pass who has been sent to us. Several attitudes are possible in the face of fear. One, escape from panics, thus escaping the test. For example, in meditation, if fear occurs as with the snake, we save ourselves by simply opening our eyes. But we couldn't get through the invisible door. We will have to repeat this test later in another form, always unpredictable and at a lower level. If, on the contrary, we stand together, Strengthened by the idea that it is only an appearance, we cast it out. Not only we are rewarded as I was, but we also walk through the door and reach a higher level of consciousness. Thus, from door to door, one widens and enlarges one's level of consciousness to approach the divine goal. We know very well that the people who have suffered great hardships in life, with the fear and anguish that accompany them, and who have managed to cope with them and overcome them, have come out with them growing on happier. For my part, every morning, before breakfast and before lunch, I close my eyes for a few moments, concentrate briefly, dive into the light and the unthought. If I am in difficult period, I mentally say only one sentence: I love you, that I repeat 3 times to give it more power. If the period is very, very difficult, I add, help, I beg you, and help always comes in the most unexpected form. But I prefer to say nothing and think as much as possible in a much more effective non-thought. Muslim said, quite rightly, that it's not worth asking God for anything, since He knows better than we do what we need. In any case, I do not recommend prayers too long, too down to earth, which are repeated mechanically, letting yourself be lulled by the music of words. A good, deep concentration, without words, without thought, even short, but as intense as possible, is much more effective. With what happened to me, more various phenomena accompanying it, as sometimes a vision of things haloed with light, people I met spoke to me of Kundalini. It would be a snake of vital energy curled at the base of the spine, wrapped around itself in 3.5 turns. It would be necessary, by long and difficult yoga exercise, yoga meaning union, coupled with a strictly vegetarian diet, to awaken the Kundalini and make it go up the spines by passing through a certain number of energy centers called chakras, which should be opened by appropriate exercise to arrive at the last lotus chakra at the top of the head and access the kiss of Shiva, of the contemplative illumination. All this must happen under the control of a master, a guru, to whom, according to the Indian tradition, one owes an absolute obedience. Even in the past, guru had the right of life and death over their disciple. The same people told me that it could happen that the Kundalini wakes up spontaneously and that it was very dangerous, without specifying the nature of the danger, that it was then imperative to find a guru who could guide me, obviously, through all levels of a hierarchy. They tried to drag me into various Indian sects. I went there out of curiosity and concern for information. I was enjoying delicious cupcakes with cardamom tea, but their kindness was not enough to convince me of their usefulness. If I ever mentioned what was happening to me, they were obviously overwhelmed, especially since the phenomena happened to a reverse way. Instead of feeling a rising energy, I could feel it coming down from the top of the head without meeting any chakras. And then I would make it go up and down as we play yo-yo. In addition, I pass it on to other people who had not been prepared. Later, I could also make calls to the base of the spine without ever perceiving these famous energy centers. Moreover, when one consults works of different religious currents that evoke and even draw these chakras, the representation and their number vary. I am not a vegetarian either. Also, I eat very little red meat, and I love fruit and vegetables very much. Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad were not vegetarian either, as far as I know.